There are moments when the narcissist's mask can no longer hold. Ordinary, seemingly harmless situations are often the exact moments when their truest, rawest self slips through. Because a narcissist can only sustain charm, politeness, and kindness as long as they maintain control or when there is an audience to perform for. But when the lights go out, when control begins to slip from their grasp, the truth rises to the surface. That's when you start to notice the cracks in their mask, the hidden shadows they've kept buried. A simple family meal can turn into a battlefield. A casual trip can spiral into a nightmare, or even a quiet moment in the car can be enough to strip away the facade. And once you've seen those moments, you will never look at them the same way again. In today's video, we will uncover 7 places where the narcissist exposes their true self clearly, unmistakably, without disguise and without illusion. 1. At the end of a relationship, have you ever noticed that a narcissist only truly reveals themselves when everything is coming to an end? Throughout the relationship, they can wear a flawless mask, gentle, charming, attentive. They make you believe you found someone special, someone who understands you, loves you, needs you. But it's at the end when the truth finally comes out. When they sense control slipping from their grasp, when they see you stepping out of the web they've spun, the mask falls. No more sweetness, no more promises of forever, no more role of the perfect partner. Instead, you witness a sudden shift that almost leaves you stunned. Yesterday they were holding your hand. Today they're cold and cruel. But remember, this is not a change. It's their true nature, no longer hidden. They begin to attack. They don't just walk away, they destroy. They may smear you to friends, turning your love story into a fabricated indictment. They take the secrets you once trusted them with and weaponize them against you. They craft a narrative where you are the weak one, unstable, the cause of every downfall. It's never about ending things fairly, it's about winning the story. For them, leaving is never just a breakup, it's the final battle to declare, I was the one in control. You will feel confused. You'll ask yourself, what did I do wrong? How can someone change this quickly? But the truth is, they never changed. What you see at the end is who they always were beneath the performance. The lover, or soulmate, was merely a role, and the play ends when there is no audience left. The pain doesn't come only from betrayal, but from realizing that for so long you loved an illusion. You gave your heart to a shadow. But don't let that turn into self-blame. The fact that you now see their true face is proof that you have awakened. What a narcissist fears most is not your anger, it's your clarity. Because when you are clear, you no longer want to play in their theater. And the moment you let go and walk away in silence is the very moment you reclaim all the power they once stole. Remember, the ending is not your failure, it is their exposure. And in the light of that truth, you do not lose love, you rediscover yourself. 2. In the car. For many people, a car is a place of ease, a space for light conversations, laughter, shared memories. But for a narcissist, it becomes an arena where their need for control and buried rage are fully exposed. When the car doors close, when you're strapped in with no escape, the mask begins to slip. Out there they may smile, act courteous, and charm everyone around. But inside the confined space of the car, with no audience left to impress, their raw ego emerges, arrogant, hostile, and hungry for dominance. Notice how they rarely treat driving as just transportation. For them, the steering wheel is a weapon of power. They speed not to reach the destination faster, but to prove superiority. They cut off other cars, not out of necessity, but to declare, I am the one in control here. And you, the passenger, become the unwilling witness to this dangerous game. It's not just the speed. Every detail in the car becomes a tool for control. The music must fit their taste. The air conditioning must suit their comfort. The route must be their choice. If you complain, they laugh it off or turn it against you. You always exaggerate everything. Every move from slamming the brakes, weaving aggressively, to dragging out an argument during the ride reinforces the message. You are in their territory and you have no say. The most dangerous part is the helplessness they plant in you. As the car hurtles at terrifying speed, as their shouts echo in the small space, your body tenses, your heart races. You know you can't just jump out. You're trapped. And in that moment, you see their true face, a raging ego, willing to gamble with your safety just to feed their twisted sense of power. Later, when you look back, you'll understand those car rides weren't just physical journeys, they were soul lessons. They revealed that real love never coexists with constant fear, that someone can fake tenderness in public, but the truth will always surface in spaces where there is no audience. The car then doesn't just carry you to a destination, it carries you to an awakening, that you deserve peace, not to sit trembling beside someone who treats you as a prop in their performance of dominance. And once you realize that, you will never see those rides with them the same way again. 3. When money appears, people often say, if you want to know who someone truly is, look at how they treat money. And with a narcissist, nothing could be truer. Money in their eyes is not just a means of survival, nor a safeguard for the future. It is the mirror that exposes their essence, the throne from which they look down on others. When everything is still smooth, they may act generous, spending freely to impress. They might buy flowers, give gifts, flaunt their supposed kindness. But when the relationship enters testing ground, when interests and responsibilities intertwine, you'll see the mask begin to crack. Money turns into a measuring stick for comparison, a tool for control, and a weapon to tear you down. You'll notice it whenever the subject of sharing arises. A simple bill, a small contribution, a joint financial plan all become battlefields. They may make excuses, delay, or even blame you for being too demanding. They spend lavishly on themselves, but when it's your turn, the wallet snaps shut. And when they do spend on you, you're made to feel indebted for receiving their sacrifice. That's not sharing, it's control disguised as support. The frightening truth is this. To them, money is not just money. It is power. It is the measure of a person's worth. It is the way they enforce their superiority, pushing you into an inferior role. A small sum can be exaggerated into a grand sacrifice. A simple favor becomes a reason to demand absolute loyalty. And when real interests are at stake, inheritance, property, career, you will see the mask fully drop. Greed flashes in their eyes. Envy drips from their words. They might belittle you for a promotion, scorn your success, even sabotage your opportunities simply because they cannot stand you having equal power. Understand this. Money doesn't corrupt them. It only unmasks what was always there. What they've worshipped was never love, never connection. It was control, the feeling of being above. So if you've ever been made to believe you owe them because of material things, remember, the truth is, they used money to buy power, not to build love. And any relationship rooted in power will never hold peace. In a narcissist's hands, money is not a tool of happiness. It is a mirror reflecting selfishness and the hunger to dominate. And once you see that clearly, you'll realize your value was never in the bank balance. It has always been in your freedom that cannot be bought. 4. The family dining table. For many families, a shared meal is the warmest moment of the day, a time to gather, share joys, and ease the weariness. But in the presence of a narcissist, the dining table ceases to be a place of bonding. It becomes a suffocating battleground where power and control are served alongside the food. They don't see the meal as a chance to connect, it's a stage. Every word, every gesture becomes an opportunity to belittle, mock, or inject tension. The joy that should be their laughter, simple stories, is replaced with sighs and wary glances. The air grows heavy with silence. Everyone afraid that one wrong word could ignite sudden rage. Narcissists excel at turning the ordinary into tools of manipulation. An innocent-sounding question like, "Why are you eating so much?" becomes an attack on appearance. A comment about the food morphs into a chance to dismiss someone's efforts. They scrutinize portions, judge preferences, and twist every small act at the table into a reason to strike. Eating an act meant to nourish turns into a venomous power game. What's worse, these jabs are often wrapped in the disguise of just joking. But the victims don't laugh. Their hearts sting, yet they force a smile, because speaking up would set the fire ablaze. Over time, silence becomes the rule. People sit there with stiff bodies, minds tense, hearts weighed down with fear. A meal that should nurture the soul becomes a ritual of endurance. For the narcissist, the dining table is not about sharing, it's about cementing their dominance. They relish seeing discomfort, savor the anxiety painted across faces, because to them, other people's unease is proof of their power. If you've lived through this, you know some meals don't feed the body, they plant wounds in the spirit. And one day you realize it isn't the food that exhausts you, but the toxic energy emanating from the person across the table. Remember, a true meal should bring peace. If you leave the table feeling small, humiliated, or uneasy, it's not your fault. It's proof that someone has twisted a sacred ritual into a tool of domination. And when you dare to call it what it is, you begin to reclaim your right to something simple yet priceless. A meal filled with love, not tears. 5. On trips. For many, a trip is a chance to rest, to enjoy freedom, to create happy memories. But when traveling with a narcissist, the journey you once looked forward to becomes a tense ordeal where every step, every small detail exposes their obsession with control. You'll notice it from the very start, in the preparation phase. They show up late, forget documents, refuse to read instructions, then turn around and blame you for every mishap. In their eyes, disorder is never their fault. It always belongs to someone else. And when unexpected situations arise, a delayed flight, a long wait in line, a bureaucratic delay instead of adapting, they erupt. Employees are berated, you are criticized, and the atmosphere shifts instantly from excitement to suffocation. Throughout the trip, a strange duality emerges. When praised or noticed by strangers, they become cheerful, polite, almost flawless. But the moment the hotel door closes, or when no audience remains, the irritation and rage return. The sudden switch leaves you stunned, as if you're traveling with two entirely different people. For the narcissist, travel is never about landscapes or experiences. It's about power. Who decides where to go, what to eat, what to see? Everything must revolve around them. If you want something different, they mock you or make you feel guilty. And sometimes, in the middle of the trip, they create a crisis, an argument, a tantrum, ensuring that the highlight of the journey isn't the destination, but them. The painful truth is that you don't just lose the joy of discovery, you lose your sense of inner safety. You walk onto a beach with anxiety in your chest. You stand before breathtaking scenery but feel weighed down, just hoping another outburst won't come. A trip that should expand your soul becomes a test of endurance. But here's the deeper truth. These behaviors don't ruin the trip, they reveal who they are. When they cannot control the flow of people, time, or rules, their inner helplessness rises to the surface. And that's when you realize their so-called power was only a thin coat of paint, easily cracked by life's ordinary inconveniences. Remember, a true journey never leaves you fearful or small. If traveling with someone drains you instead of energizing you, that's not love, it's captivity. And the moment you see it, you've reclaimed your real ticket. The journey to freedom, the only trip that truly matters. 6. When technology doesn't obey. Have you ever watched someone completely lose control just because their phone died, the Wi-Fi glitched, or the computer froze? For most people, it's a minor annoyance solved with patience. But for a narcissist, it's an ego death, a moment that exposes their helplessness and fury at its rawest. Technology, to them, isn't just a tool. It's the bridge that sustains their image, the lifeline that delivers attention, admiration, and control. When the connection drops, when the screen goes dark, it feels like their very supply has been cut off. Their first reaction isn't calm problem solving, it's an explosion. Slamming desks, yelling, or worse, unloading their anger on whoever is closest. The telling part is that they rarely take responsibility. Instead of accepting that technology sometimes fails, they immediately look for a culprit. If you're nearby, you become the perfect target. They accuse you of breaking the device, of being useless for not fixing it instantly. And in their rage, venomous words are launched, leaving you stunned, carrying guilt for something you never caused. In that moment, the mask falls off completely. No charm, no polished manners, only a raw ego, fragile and insecure, grappling with loss of control. And instead of facing that truth, they cover it with anger as if shouting loud enough could shrink reality. But if you look closely, you'll see something vital. Technology didn't create the anger, it only mirrored it. It revealed how fragile their power and image really are, so flimsy that even a weak Wi-Fi signal can shake them. That is the clearest proof that their entire persona is an illusion. For you, the moment may feel painful, but it can also be awakening. It reminds you that true love never comes with the fear of being punished for a meaningless glitch. It shows you that a healthy relationship doesn't depend on signals and screens. It rests on respect and understanding. Remember, when someone turns a tech mishap into a reason to humiliate you, they're not talking about the device, they're exposing who they truly are. And once you see it, you'll no longer get pulled into their storm. You'll choose peace, and that's a power no outage can ever take away. 7. When around children and animals, there is something unique about children and animals. They don't know how to pretend. They aren't fooled by the masks adults wear. They don't care about reputation, status, or polished words. They sense the world through instinct, through raw energy. And that is precisely why, in the presence of a narcissist, they often pull away. You may have seen it. A usually playful dog suddenly growling or keeping its distance. A friendly cat darting into a dark corner. A child becoming quiet, restless, or even bursting into tears without any apparent reason. This isn't random. It's their natural sensitivity to toxic energy that a narcissist cannot conceal. And the narcissist's reaction is rarely understanding its irritation. They mock the animal, scold the child, or quickly make excuses. This dog is just unfriendly. That kid is so rude. Yet, ironically, that reaction exposes them. Instead of self-reflection, they attack the very mirror reflecting the truth. This reveals something crucial. Innocence cannot be deceived. Where adults may be swayed by charm or polite facades, children and animals only respond to what truly exists. They don't care about the glossy veneer. They sense the insecurity, hostility, and possessiveness lurking behind the fake smile. If you pause to observe, you'll see the undeniable truth. The narcissist cannot control everything. They may manipulate narratives, deceive grown-ups, but they cannot force a child to feel safe, nor can they convince an animal to trust false kindness. Here, the truth shines through in full. What's valuable is this. If you've ever doubted yourself, wondering if you were too sensitive, too imaginative, the reactions of children and animals prove the opposite. They affirm that your intuition was right, that you had felt the true energy all along, even if you hesitated to believe it. And this is the powerful reminder. You don't need to wait for undeniable proof or a confession to recognize reality. Sometimes, simply noticing how a child withdraws or how a dog avoids someone is enough to see what adults prefer to deny. Trust that instinct, because when innocence and raw instinct both sound the alarm, the mask has fallen, and you'll understand. Real love never makes anyone, child or animal, tremble with fear. When you've seen the moments where the narcissist's mask slips at the end of a relationship, in the car, around money, at the dining table, on trips, when technology fails, or in the honest reactions of children and animals, you can never go back to unseeing them. Because once you've seen, you cannot unsee. Once you've known, you cannot pretend not to know. The crucial thing is this. Allow yourself to trust what you feel. All this time you may have been manipulated into doubting yourself, told you were too sensitive, that you were imagining things, that you were overreacting. But the truth is, your body and soul have been sending you signals all along. The racing heart, the tension, The unease, those were all warnings. And now, you have the proof to believe your intuition was right. A narcissist may be skilled at constructing illusions. They can enchant others with words, with appearances, with staged acts of kindness, but they cannot sustain the performance forever. There will always be moments, circumstances, spaces where their true nature surfaces, and it's in those moments that you are handed a mirror reflecting the truth. Don't let this revelation bring you despair. Instead, see it as a gift, because nothing is more valuable than recognizing someone clearly enough to know you no longer need to live in illusion. Realizing the truth may sting, but it also sets you free. It allows you to stop, to cease blaming yourself, and to begin the healing journey back to wholeness. Remember this: stepping out of their control is not a failure. It is your greatest silent victory. You don't need to scream to prove you're right. You don't need revenge to reclaim balance. Simply choosing peace, choosing to walk away without looking back, is the most powerful declaration: I deserve more than this. And as you continue your journey, hold on to one truth. Real love never makes you doubt yourself, never makes you tremble in fear, never demands you shrink so someone else can feel bigger. True love nourishes you, protects you, and gives you the space to become your fullest self. So if today you hear these words and see yourself in this story, take it as a reminder. You are strong enough to see the truth. And once you see it, no one can ever take that power away from you. Walk forward, not with bitterness, but with freedom. Let each passing day testify that you are no longer bound by false masks. And remember, your healing journey is not about finding someone else. It is about finding yourself again.